Teacher talking sports, what it does, what it do, how we living throughout the NBA playoffs. I've been previewing each of the series once we know what they are. I did all 8 of the first round, the 4 conference semifinals. I'll do the 2 conference finals. We do not know the Western Conference Finals yet. Game 7 between Denver and OKC is tomorrow. Winner of that plays the Minnesota Timberwolves, but we do know the Eastern Conference Finals, and it's, of course, the Celtics versus the Cavaliers. Oh, wait, it's not? That's just what everyone had predicted, but it is not the case. Nope, because my New York Knicks are in the Eastern Conference Finals for the first time since 2000, and they meet their longtime rivals, the Indiana Pacers. These two teams squared off last year in the conference semifinals. Of course, Celtics, Cavaliers, huge favorites in their series, but the Pacers defeated the Cavs in 5 games, and the Knicks, with their blowout victory in Game 6 on last night, secured their first conference finals in 25 years. Let's take a look at both teams, and let me also state that for all these, I predict who I believe is going to win the series, except when it involves the Knicks. I'm way too biased, so I leave that for you guys to write in the comments who you think will take the series. But anyhow, these are the regular season ranks for both teams. See, the Knicks finished 1 game better than the Pacers, so they will have home court in this series, which begins on Wednesday. Knicks were the 3rd seed in the East. The Pacers were the 4th seed in the East. Pacers won both of their series in 5 games, first over the Bucks, then over the Cavs. The Knicks won both of their series in 6 games, and man, were they hard fought. Pistons series definitely helped battle test them, and then the Celtics series yesterday was really finally their first playoff victory where I could breathe throughout the game, because every game was so close. Of course, games 1 and 2 against the Celtics were 2 20-point comebacks. Even game 4, they were down 14. So, we're comeback kids throughout the series. And yes, first conference finals again in 25 years. But Pacers have been playing great basketball. After New Year's, they had the 4th best regular season record in the NBA, only behind the 3 teams with the best records in the league, that being the Cavs, Celtics, and Thunder. So, definitely these season ranks do not really constitute how they've played throughout this season. But let's take a look at the starting lineups for both teams. Now, the averages you see after each player: points per game, rebounds per game, assists per game, steals per game, blocks per game in the playoffs. And both of these teams have used their starting lineups the entire playoffs. Pacers for all 10 of their games, the Knicks for all 12 of their games. And look at how well-rounded the Pacers are. No one is taking the scoring load. It's kind of crazy that in their starting lineup, everyone is averaging between 14.6 points and 18.8 points. So that's pretty incredible to see. Meanwhile, the Knicks, yes, we know who's going to be their top scorer. Of course, that is Jalen Brunson. Had some magical moments. Of course, hit the shot to help him advance past Detroit. Clutch player of the year for a reason. Mikal Bridges, 2 huge defensive plays to help win Game 1, help win Game 2. OG Anunoby, a little bit inconsistent. I actually saw a stat where the Knicks are undefeated in the playoffs since they got him last year, when he attempts at least 14 shots in a playoff game. But he had that game. Game 5 against the Celtics, where he was a complete no-show on the offensive end, finishing 1 for 12. Karl-Anthony Towns had a bit of inconsistency as well. Teams have been utilizing smaller guys on him. Who would that be for the Pacers if they decide to do so? Do you put an Aaron Nesmith on him, an Andrew Nembhard? I'm not really sure what the Pacers will do with that. And Josh Hart's been hitting his 3-point shot, so our team's going to continue to possibly use the center on Josh Hart. Of course, Josh Hart had a triple-double in his last playoff game to help the Knicks reach that Eastern Conference Finals. What worries about me as a Knicks fan with the Pacers is they are just a deep team. I mean, for all these, I always include 5 guys off the bench, knowing that most teams don't even go 10 deep. The problem is the Pacers do, and sometimes they go 11 deep, as this doesn't mention Jarris Walker. But I think Thomas Bryant may see time over Walker because the Knicks sometimes do go with that Twin Tower lineup, playing both Towns and Mitchell Robinson together, and you need guys to keep Mitchell Robinson off the glass. I don't know if you could say, look at my cat. Where is she? Come on. Yeah, she's trying to get the camera on her, as you see my TV. But anyhow, yeah, my cat was biting my hand. Yeah, they need guys to help keep Mitchell Robinson off the glass. Of course, Obi Toppin was drafted by the Knicks. And as I mentioned, these two teams met in the Eastern Conference semifinals last year. Now, we know the Knicks became quite injury ravaged, and the Pacers were able to defeat them in 7 games. But man, the guy who really bugged me, annoyed the heck out of me, is TJ McConnell, because he just constantly finds his way into the lane despite being small, despite not being overly athletic. He's just such a crafty player, and there was times he would destroy the Knicks in last year's playoffs. So he really worries me, and he's had his moments in this year's playoffs as well. The Knicks right now, Tom Thibodeau is really only trusting 2 guys off the bench. Now, I'm not one of these Tom Thibodeau detractors. He has a bunch that are Knicks fans that say he plays his stars too much. He needs to count on the bench more. Well, they got to the conference finals, and I can't. I think Thibodeau is a very good coach. And the minutes police people. Well, there's been a lot of injuries in these playoffs, and knock on wood, the Knicks have really stayed healthy. But yes, he's only playing 2 guys really off the bench. Now, Cameron Payne has played in all 12 postseason games, but was actually out of the rotation in their Game 6. He did play in garbage time when the Knicks were up quite a substantial amount. Precious Achiuwa seen spot minutes in a few games, and Landry Shamet started the Detroit series in the rotation but has been out of it for a while. So yes, Knicks again making their first conference final since 2000, attempting to make their first NBA finals since 1999, attempting to win their first NBA title since 1973. The Indiana Pacers have yet to win an NBA championship. I believe they won 2 in the ABA. They won at least 1 in the ABA. But anyhow, if we go to DraftKings Sportsbook, the Knicks are listed as minus 140 favorites to the Pacers plus 120. So definitely not huge favorites. But again, I'm not going to predict as a Knicks fan who will take this series. Let me know in the comments. Who do you believe will win this series and in how many games? I'm excited. Part of me is a little bit happy the series doesn't begin till Wednesday because, man, these games just take a lot out of me. So many nail biters in both rounds for the Knicks. Just give me a little time to relax before we get into it. But at the same time, I can't wait. Can we make the NBA Finals? Can I see my first championship in my lifetime? We shall see. Anyhow, don't forget to subscribe. Tell a friend to subscribe. Like the video, share the video, hit the bell for notifications. I'm out.